Hi, I'm Nico De Swert. I'm a floral designer and interior stylist. Today, I want to give you some care tips on everyday flowers. What I'm going to start with here is really beautiful roses, and I'm going to teach you how to trim and take care of them. You take all the extra foliage off, because when you put it in a vase, you don't want to have any flower, any leaf be submerged in the water, because it's going to be murky in the water. It's going to create germs and bacteria, and that's going to kill your flowers, so you want to remove them. And then also the extra thorns. If you only have a few roses for your home, you don't have to do a big wedding, you can just do them by hand because it's much better to do it this way. The thorn strippers that you can buy in the flower market, it's more for commercial use, and they damage the flower a little bit. They score your stem and it turns brown, so we don't want to do that. And then you cut a flower, mostly roses or hardy stems, always under a 45-degree angle with a very sharp, clean knife. So to create a large surface, because a larger surface takes up a lot more water than a small surface. When you have your bouquet ready and you put it in a vase, after a few days you want to take the bouquet out of the vase and recut the stems just like half an inch, just so that the bottom of the stem don't clog up with bacteria and all kinds of stuff that's in the water. Clean the water, of course. Put the bouquet back in your water and you can enjoy it much longer. That's how you take care of your roses. There was a person used to, in the 40s, he created what we all know today as the floral foam. Basically the same thing as what's inside of a stem of a flower. Sponge-like texture that takes up the water and absorbs it. With floral foam, there's one little trick that you have to do, which a lot of people don't do and follow, and it ruins your entire flower arrangement. And I'll show you how. You have to submerge it. Basically, you fill up your sink at home, or a tub, or a large bowl like this, and you take the brick and just basically put it on top of the water, and that's it. And you let it submerge by itself. The water will come into the brick. What you don't want to do is what most people do, is because they're impatient, is push it underwater. Because what happens is you're going to create an air pocket inside of the brick. And when you later make your arrangement, you're going to stick a stem right into that pocket, and there's never going to be any water that's going to be absorbed into your stem of your flower, so your flower arrangement will probably be ruined. The next flower I'm going to use and clean and give you some tips on is one of my favorite flowers, which is the Carnation. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I love them, and they're becoming much more popular today because of the new varieties and the new colors that are being introduced in the market. And it's a very strong flower and pretty much available throughout the United States in any flower store. Easy to use, fun to use. They come in such great colors, like these beautiful lavender mini carnations and these just simple white. And I really love them because of the texture. I use them mostly just flower to flower, petal to petal. You can create a beautiful texture like that and easy to work with. And they're strong. And cleaning them is very easy. You just take off the extra leaves. Again, any leaf that is under your water line, when you make your arrangement, you should remove, because it's going to create bacteria in your water. Sometimes when you buy a bouquet from your local florist, there's a little package that is attached to your bouquet, and it's flower food. A lot of people don't want to use it because they think it's nonsense. I think you really should use it because it's very helpful. It kills the bacteria in your water, so your flowers are going to last much longer and you're going to enjoy them much longer. Now, how can you recognize a healthy looking flower? Well, it's very easy. You look at the stem. You see that there's no rotting leaves on it. Are there any bruises on the stem? Any brown foliage? Any brown leaves? Are the flower buds, are they really clean and young? There's no decay, no brown rotting parts of it. This is very healthy and clean, so you can see that. And then roses, for instance, you can take the roses and there's guard petals on the roses. And if they're nice and young like these, then there's nothing wrong with it. And if there are any rotting leaves or rotting petals, you can ask your salesperson at the flower store to give you a great discount. One of my most favorite flowers is the calla lily, or Hydrangea, which are these beautiful things. Now, to pay attention when you buy those and to see when they're fresh, it's a very easy trick. You basically just bend them, and if they don't break, if they don't snap in the middle, then it means that they're very fresh and young. Also, just looking at the flower head, when you feel it, it's really beautiful and crisp and clean, and you want to see that there's no wrinkles or anything in the leaf itself. It almost has to feel like leather, and when you feel the flower itself, you feel it. It's almost like a leather texture. So you also want to look at the stamen of the flower, and if there's any pollen that is shedding already. When it's a fresh flower, there's basically no powder on it, as you can see. And when it gets older, it starts to open up and it starts to loosen the pollen that's in the stamen. When shopping for hydrangeas, what you should pay attention to is basically, again, the texture of the flower, and you know, you feel it with your hands. It has to feel like leathery, crispy. You can even hear it. You know, it's very fresh and young, and that's what you should look for. When hydrangeas are very soft, like really, really, really soft, too soft, you should stay away from them because they droop very fast and they won't last very long. But in case you do buy hydrangeas that are not very fresh, and you get home and you get stuck in your car during a hot day and they start drooping, an easy trick to revive them is basically just take the flower and just basically submerge them into water like this and leave them there for like 10 minutes, and they will just pop up like that in no time. Hydrangeas, because they have wooden stems just like lilacs, and an old wife tale is basically to take a hammer and smash the ends of the stems before you put it in your flower arrangement, but that's really the wrong way to do it. You basically destroy the cell texture that's inside of the stem. You basically just have to take a sharp knife, cut the stem a slip in it, and then cut it on a 45-degree angle, and that should do it. Just no smashing. Hopefully these tips will help you enjoy more beautiful, healthy, long-lasting flowers.